Okay, ready? Right here, you have the most expensive steel square money can buy. It's made by a US company based in Strongville, Ohio called Woodpeckers. And here you have a similar square made by a Canadian company in Moncton, New Brunswick, Canada called JessEm. And now, who is this Canadian company, JessEm? And why are they building one? And why are they the only other high-end tool company in the world saying, we need to build more? I'm going to be taking a deep look into these two squares and the manufacturers that make them. Is one square better than the other? What square is a better value? And what company should you trust and why? This is Tool Time with Bill. The first thing that we're going to look at is see how each square is manufactured and made. But first, you need to know something. I did some research into these two companies to see what types of machines they use to manufacture these tools. Because if they use different types of machines, that would possibly change the quality and precision capabilities each company is able to achieve. So after a lot of research, I discovered that they use similar machines. All right, so keep all of this in mind as we talk about the build quality and the precision of these tools. The Woodpecker square has a unique design. It is actually made from one piece of stainless steel that's laser cut at a perfect 90 degrees. Now, the core blade then gets heat treated and tempered, ensuring that it maintains its strength and stability. It then gets a proprietary non-glare satin finish before it receives its laser engraved markings. Now, Woodpecker claims that this finish helps contrast their laser engraved scales. But guys, what do you think? Can you see the difference? Now, the last step in the manufacturing process is to add what Woodpecker calls cheeks. And no, they're not the cheeks like you have on your face. These cheeks are precision milled out of aluminum and are attached to the 90-degree blade. Now, let's take a look at the JessEm square and see how it's designed and manufactured. The JessEm square is designed out of a single straight edge core. It too is precision laser cut from 301 hardened stainless steel. The blade goes through a two-step finishing process, and the first step is to laser etch the scales to the blade. The second step is to heat treat the stainless steel to ensure it maintains its strength and stability. This also ensures that the markings will never fade. And the final step is to attach the precision milled aluminum handle at a perfect 90-degree angle. Okay, let's talk about the accuracy and precision of these squares. These two companies take a drastically different approach in how they make their squares. And I believe this is important for you to know and understand as you decide what square is best for you. So let's talk about the first difference, accuracy. The Woodpecker square has a blade core that's milled at 90 degrees with a tolerance of 0.0085 degrees. Now, the JessEm square is made with a single blade that is attached to a handle that forms a 90-degree angle. Now, the tolerance of this is 0.002 inches. Now, I actually had to do some math to figure out how the 0.0085 degree tolerance with the Woodpecker square translates into inches to see if it was better or worse than the JessEm's 0.002 tolerance. And I realized I'm not good at math, so I had to ask ChatGPT. ChatGPT told me that a square with a 0.0085 degree tolerance and a 12-inch blade has approximately a tolerance of 0.00178 inches. So, the Woodpecker square is technically more accurate than the JessEm square. Now, it's really important to know that practically you need to take this into consider, and what does that mean? Well, in my opinion, both of these squares are precise enough for virtually any project that you will ever tackle. Now, if you are designing something for NASA and you really need to have the tolerance to split a human hair, the Woodpecker square is the clear winner. Now, while the Woodpecker square might offer a greater technical accuracy thanks to that solid core design we talk about, that could actually be a drawback in certain situations. See, if you drop the Woodpecker square and it gets knocked out of an alignment, you might not be able to recalibrate it because it's made from one core piece of stainless steel. However, Woodpeckers does say on their website that they will recalibrate it or replace the square if it ever gets out of alignment. But I'm not so sure that really applies to drop squares. Woodpeckers, if you're watching this video, could you comment below and let us know? Because we're all very curious about that question. Now, if you were to drop the JessEm square and it were to get out of alignment, you could easily recalibrate it yourself due to how it's designed. This can be done by resetting the handle and the blade. But guys, honestly, I don't know if I really trust myself to get it back in the same tolerance as JessEm does in their factory. So JessEm, if you're watching, can I really get my square to the same tolerance as you guys can in your factory in my garage? We really want to know. Post in the comments below. We love to hear from you. So recalibration is something to think about if you ever drop your tools. Now let's talk about the second difference, precision. So let's take a closer look at how each company adds the markings to their squares. Woodpeckers and JessEm laser grave their markings using two different processes, or methods if you will. Woodpecker laser engraves their markings after they apply their proprietary matte finish. And they do this because they believe it provides you with a better contrast when reading the laser etched markings. JessEm, however, laser engraves their markings before they heat treat their blade. So why is this important? Well, engraving the markings first and then heat treating the blade bonds the laser markings to the steel. This actually ensures that the markings will never fade. Woodpeckers doesn't do this to their blade. Now, do you think that matters? Do you think that affects the precision and readability of the square? I want to know if you can see or tell the difference. Post in the comments below, tell me what you see and what you think. Okay, here comes the fun part. Let's compare each of the square's features and how they function. Let's start with the JessEm square. The blade of the JessEm square is very unique. It has what they call flex grip tabs. Now, these patented tabs can secure against virtually any surface softer than the steel itself. So this means that when you're pushing down on your square blade, it won't move or slide. Now, the downside to having this feature is that it makes the blade a bit thicker. And I honestly prefer the look of the thinner Woodpecker blade. Now, the Woodpecker's blade doesn't have this feature. Woodpeckers simply just integrate their standard design and units of measurement seen on their other tools into this blade. There's nothing really special about the Woodpecker blade in my opinion. However, it's worth highlighting that the Woodpecker square features markings integrated into the handle, or cheeks as they refer to them. This design is possible by the 90-degree core blade. It not only enhances the precision, but also creates an extra space to add these markings. Now, JessEm doesn't include any markings in or around their handle, and that's something to consider. Now, both squares can index on the edge of a surface. However, each company approaches this a little bit differently. The JessEm square has a retractable tab that smoothly slides in and out, allowing you to easily index on the edge of a surface when you need it. The Woodpecker square has cheeks that help it align to the edge of a surface, and it doesn't have the ability to retract. So which one is better? Well, I think that really comes down to ergonomics and ease of use. So let's talk about that for a minute. When you hold the Woodpecker square by its cheeks, it feels a little bit odd. I think this is because your hand is wrapping around that blade, and to be honest, it isn't the most comfortable feeling. Now, when you hold the JessEm square by the handle, it feels solid. There's not really anything odd or uncomfortable about it. Now, if you need to use the inside of your square to check a measurement or verify if a surface is square or level, I believe that the JessEm design does a far better job at maintaining alignment and stability through that entire process. I think this is because the Woodpecker's core, that blade protrudes out of the handle, and it makes it a little bit more unstable, and it's harder to keep straight and in a parallel line if you need one. Okay, let's talk about price. Now, the 12-inch Woodpecker square is $149.99. And guys, I've never seen it go on sale or see them offer any discount codes for this square. The JessEm 12-inch square is $109.99. And I don't know if JessEm actually offers any sales or discounts for this tool either. However, JessEm does offer what they call factory seconds. Now, these are tools that have small cosmetic blemishes and are sold at a discount. But none of those blemishes impact the accuracy or the precision of the tool. I want to talk about another thing that you should consider when purchasing a square or making your decision. I would recommend looking at what each company gives you with your purchase. Now, the Woodpecker square comes in a cardboard box, and it includes a metal racket holder to hang your square on the wall. It's worth about 12 bucks, and they give this to you for free. Now, it's well made, but honestly, I don't really like the idea of a metal on metal holder because it's definitely gonna scratch my square, and I paid a lot of money for it. And I sat around thinking about what could I do to fix this, and that's why I designed and built my own holder. If you want to check it out, I'll put a link to it right here and also in the description below. But my holder doesn't damage your square, it safely stores it away, and you can put your square in the up or the downward position, and you can put it to the left or the right, totally up to you. All right, so let's talk about what JessEm offers and provides you. JessEm provides a custom MDF tray with built-in magnets that securely hold your square in place. However, I was a little bit surprised that there was no keyhole or mounting option on the back of my tray. So I reached out to JessEm and I asked them why. Well, JessEm explained to me that the MDF tray was originally designed solely as a protective measure for shipping, and it intended to safeguard the square against package damage or dropped or mishandled packages. However, after they first did their production run batch, customers kept requesting a mounting option for the tray, and as a result, JessEm updated the design and all sequential production runs to include a keyhole on the back so you can hang it on the wall. I thought that was really great how they listened to their customers and improved their products. Now, I do prefer the MDF tray over the racket holder that Woodpecker provides, but I don't have that space in my shop to hold a whole bunch of MDF trays. So I did the same thing. I created my own holder for the JessEm square, and it will safely protect your square, and you can put it or hang it however you like. If you want to check it out, I'll also put a link to it here and also in the description below. Okay, so here we are, getting close to the end. What is the best square for you? Well, let's first do a quick summary of what we know about these two squares. We talked about the build quality and the machines that make these squares. And both of these squares are extremely precise for pretty much any project that you'll ever tackle. However, the Woodpecker square is half a hair more accurate. The JessEm square has two features not found on the Woodpecker square: a retractable indexing tab and the patented flex grip tabs. The Woodpecker square also has two features that JessEm doesn't have: an additional measurement markings in and around the handle, making it more versatile and giving you a little bit more things to measure. It has a proprietary matte finish on the blade, which enhances the visibility of the laser etched markings for better contrast. Now, both squares are easy to use. However, if you ever use the inside of your square to align something, I personally believe the JessEm square might be easier to use due to its handle design, and there's nothing protruding out of it like the Woodpecker square. The price. The Woodpecker square is $149.99. The JessEm square is $109.99. So what square do I think is best? Well, my recommendation is based on real-world, everyday use and the many different woodworking scenarios that you will face as a woodworker. Now, with that said, I first want to say that I honestly, guys, believe that both squares will do the job, and the final decision really comes down to three things: features, ease of use, and finally, price. Because let's face it, we all have less money in our pockets these days than we used to. And I believe there is one square that stands out and shines the brightest, and that is the JessEm square. And I believe it will offer you the most features for the price. Now, the square is made in Canada, and I know for some that absolutely might be a deal breaker, and honestly, I love supporting USA-made tools. But guys, Canada, it's like the US's attic. It's quieter, cooler, and full of stuff no one really pays attention to until you need it. And man, do you need this tool. I really hope I don't get roasted in the comments for that. So what do you think? Do you agree with my conclusion? Which square would you choose and why? Post in the comments below. I really genuinely want to know. Now, if you liked this review and you want to see more woodworking reviews and project and get some ideas, consider subscribing. All right, guys, till next time, I'll see you later.